We will go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the Global Town Hall, the December 2021 edition. It is great to see everyone here amidst our ongoing turbulent times. Gathering together makes good sense and is important for us to see and support one another. Especially during the holiday season, whether you're celebrating Hanukkah or Christmas or Kwanzaa or all of the above. We're very glad to be together in this festive season. In the spirit of welcoming in Advent for those celebrating Christmas and the Advent season, we're also welcoming new members to the NDI community today. So I want to welcome Zaina, Kayla, and Ryan. Zaina is joining ISSA or has already joined ISSA. Kayla has already joined Study Abroad, and Ryan is in Dublin, and you'll hear more about them later. You can see about them in the NDI Insider newsletter. As you know, we've made some changes to the format of the town hall, so the Insider is now in a newsletter, and that will be sent out shortly. With that, we'll start where we always start, with the news headlines from around the world and around NDI. And we're starting today with Ops and Comms. Please, Mark.
Hello there. Thanks, Michael. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Here are the Ops and Comms headlines. We had quite a few highlights over the last couple of months, but these are two of them. I'll share two of them with you today. We're delighted to announce that the AV upgrade in the main 105 conference room is complete. The new technology is aligned with campus standards and provides users with a video conference capable room. The result is an easy to use professional space with a wall mounted LCD and improved audio. If you're on campus and have a chance, come on down to the 105 conference room and check it out. In addition to that, we have received approval to move forward with significant technology upgrades in the London and Rome classrooms. This initiative will enhance the quality of instruction for Notre Dame students and faculty at the London Global Gateway and the Rome Global Gateway. Additionally, we are on track to a consistent and predictable maintenance schedule, ensuring that all international classroom technology will align with our campus classroom standards. From all of us on the Ops and Comms team, we wish you a happy holiday season and a joyful, safe new year in 2022. And now let's hear from the Global Partnerships and Faculty Outreach team. Take it away, Jer.
Thank you, Mark. I like that you just focused on two. So I'll just focus on three with us, although everybody knows we're movers and shakers on our team, but I'll just focus on three. So the first one is that we're really absolutely delighted that after long discussions, we have finally been able to launch the Notre Dame Durham Sea Grant program. And here on campus, we've worked with ND Research to do that. The deadline is in February, but we will have 4 awards of up to 27,000. So that's really a great achievement. We're very pleased about that. Additionally, we've just granted 8 research awards to our grant programs, and I'll be in touch with the various locations about those. All except for one of them are for the virtual domain. We have, I think it's 5 for Asia, 2 for Mexico, and 1 for Luxic. And in very exciting news, Catherine will be hosting 2 master's students in the Masters for Nonprofit Administration here at NDI for their practicums. And they'll be working on partnership assessments and, what she calls the implementation and innovation of internationalization virtual series. Now, I know Catherine has been doing lots of other things, but I think that particular supervision that she's doing on partnership is unique. Thank you, everybody. Who am I passing on to now?
Thanks, Jer. I'm up. Hi, everyone. We are winding down the fall semester with our exchange and ASAP students. I recently hosted a Thanksgiving dinner with our 20 visiting students in my home for a traditional holiday experience. We are welcoming 35 new incoming students for this spring semester that will be on campus, and this will be our largest cohort for the last 2 years. We're very excited. Our team will also run our virtual DSML data science program, which is virtual again this February. Next up, study abroad.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of the Study Abroad team, I'm happy to share updates with you. First, we would like to welcome the newest member of our team, Kayla Loreno. Welcome, Kayla. We would also like to congratulate Katie Kovar on a professional milestone as she recently successfully defended her dissertation. She will soon become Dr. Catherine Kovar. In other news, the 2022-2023 semester applications are now closed. After a successful study abroad week in September, we received a record number of applications for the next academic term. The team is excited to see what the new year brings. Next, we will hear from Issa.
Hello, everyone. Issa has enjoyed welcoming students back to campus. We have implemented a monthly international coffee hour in partnership with UCC that focuses on various topics related to the international student experience. In addition, Issa has hosted bus trips to Chicago and Michigan City, with our last trip of the semester to Chris Kindle Market in Chicago taking place in a couple of weeks. Lastly, we look forward to welcoming an estimated 41 undergraduate and exchange students and 29 scholars this upcoming spring semester. Now let's hear from our global teams, starting with Sao Paulo.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Starting this recruiting season, São Paulo Global Center organized with the other 2 centers in Latin America, Santiago and Mexico, 2 virtual information sessions on undergraduate and graduate programs. It was with the collaboration from the undergraduate division and the DEP programs and the graduate law and business schools. We also had the support from U.S. State Department Education USA Network in Latin America. And over 400 people registered for both events from many Latin American countries. Our center also helped organize with Santiago and Mexico centers the virtual event Indigenous Response to Climate Change, Perspectives from the Americas. The center has been participating in the NG Foreign Task Force in Sustainability, DEI Committee, and in the Consortium of Catholic Universities. We will have 1 student, study abroad student for the spring 2022. And we have many students already registered for our 2022 summer programs. And we will also have an increase of almost 100% in our followers in the Instagram account. Thank you. And I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And Santiago, you're up next.
Thank you, Thais. Thank you very much. Well, here in Santiago, we are really excited because we will receive 21 students in the spring after this almost 2 years. We're really excited about that. As Thais already mentioned, we happily co-organized this virtual roundtable, which was really successful on indigenous perspectives on climate change from a Latin American perspective. And we're also working on an international scholars program for next year, which will focus mainly around sustainability issues. And we're really excited about that. We're already getting a list of approved classes from our partner university here on sustainability that we think will increase the interest in this topic from a Latin American perspective. And we're also excited because for the first time ever, we'll be hosting a summer program in the summer of 2022, which we're already working on with the help of our team over there in Notre Dame. So that's it from Santiago. Now I'm going to pass it up to Rome.
Thank you, Philippe. Ciao to everyone from Rome. I'm delighted to share our headlines with you today. The Rome Global Gateway has hosted a total of 15 hybrid events to date, comprised of in-person and online participants. We've seen a significant increase in the number of participants joining our conferences online and foresee the hybrid format as the way to go for the future. With many events scheduled, we are looking forward to a very productive and fruitful 2022. Moving on to our graduate programs, I'd like to share that the preparatory work is almost completed for a new summer school program on antiquity and its reception, organised by the Rome Global Gateway in collaboration with the École Française du Rome, the French Academy in Rome, and in partnerships with the network of French, US and Canadian universities. The school will take place in June 2022, and the call for application should go out in the coming weeks. And finally, we were honoured and humbled to have our president, Father John Jenkins, celebrate our end of semester mass for students, faculty and staff. In his homily, Father Jenkins encouraged the students to embrace the graces of the Advent season and invited them to open their hearts to welcome Jesus at Christmas. On behalf of us all here in Rome, Buon Natale. And next up, Mumbai.
Namaste from Mumbai. Like everyone else, I would like to use this opportunity to highlight just two projects that we are presently supporting here in the Mumbai Global Center. On this Friday, the 10th of December, the Mumbai Global Center will host a virtual event, the first in a series of 3, and this one is on the topic of fostering disability-friendly higher education institutions in India. This event, as I said, is a part of a series of 3 virtual events sponsored by the US Consulate General in Mumbai on the topics of diversity, equity, and inclusion in higher education campuses across India. With the next 2 events now slated for early February and mid-March of next year. I'm also happy to inform you all that the Rise in Sea Level of Mumbai initiative that was in partnership with the School of Architecture has gained a lot of momentum over the past since we last spoke about it. We are presently in talks with the US Embassy in New Delhi and the Indian Climate Change Ministry to help fund the first phase of this project. Our partners in this project include an interdisciplinary team from the University of Notre Dame itself, as well as experts both from the US and in India. The project also has advanced to the second round of the Moment to See, Courage to Act Provost initiatives. Let's now head over to Mexico and Merry Christmas to each of you.
Thanks, Daraj, and good morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone. In Mexico, we were finishing up a busy semester that saw the return of Notre Dame students to Puebla. They came with a new appreciation for the opportunity and have made the most of their semester here. They visited an organic mezcal producer as part of a trip to Oaxaca. They hosted an art show that featured their own work, and a handful of the students even joined the local university basketball. In between all of the cultural immersion and extra activities, they also found time for class. Thanks to Lisette for making the return of the Puebla program a success. In Mexico City, we've been building bridges with local universities and creating research opportunities for faculty. One example of this, this year, 6 scholars from Notre Dame from amongst the Notre Dame faculty and 9 from Mexico are participating in our pilot research incubators. These are groups of scholars that are coming together repeatedly over the year in order to discuss various topics, including religious culture and art in Mexico, the history of philosophy, and labor economics. That's all for now from Mexico. Now over to Charlotte in London.
Festive greetings from London. We are currently winding up our fall semester, which saw 126 undergraduates and 19 law students visiting us. It looks like we will have a bumper spring with a record-breaking 200 undergraduates and 44 law students. This semester, we continue to host a number of events online, such as our first Shakespeare and Community panel, a talk as part of our Sustainable Future series, the 3rd annual Chesterton Lecture, the Stanislavski and Race Symposium, and most recently, the Catholic Studies Christmas event in collaboration with Durham University, which featured a talk from children's author and screenwriter Frank Cottrell Boyce. We slowly reintroduced in-person events. There were a number of lectures from the law school. The London research seminars brought together visiting and local faculty again over a number of fascinating topics. And the undergraduates organised 2 events with a medical focus. One was a talk from Dr. Donnelly of the Cleveland Clinic in London, and one was on the topic of the pandemic and women's health. Finally, we are proud to announce 2 initiatives that have recently been opened for application. The London Research Residential Stays for Spring 2022, and what Jer previously referred to, the Notre Dame Durham Seed Grant Programme. So many thanks to Jer and Jonathan for helping us set this up. I will now pass it over to John in Carmel.
Thank you, Charlotte, and hello, everyone. Our study abroad students in Galway are busy undertaking their end of semester exams, but in the past few weeks, they've enjoyed some cultural learning, taking in a trip to Belfast in Northern Ireland. We also held a small Thanksgiving dinner with the students and some family members in Kilmore. For spring, we look forward to welcoming 26 students, our biggest cohort since the study abroad program began in Galway 3 years ago. A number of these students will have the opportunity to undertake research in areas like environmental science, neuroscience, and cancer research. We held 2 notable in-person events at Kilmore in the fall. In October, we hosted 27 genomics PhD students from various universities in Ireland for a week-long workshop where the students had to create a startup business concept based on their genomics research. The final projects were judged by the new Vice President for Research and Innovation at NUI Galway. This PhD seminar was sponsored by Science Foundation Ireland. At the end of November, we hosted the Catholic Social Tradition Meets Law workshop, a 2-day event which brought together international social ethicists, theologians, and legal scholars. Co-sponsored by the Notre Dame Nanovic Institute for European Studies and the Centre for Social Concerns, this formed part of 2 larger initiatives, one to build a global Catholic social tradition network and another to explore European legislation on dignity. And now we're off to Gabby in Jerusalem.
Thanks, John, and hi, everyone. Over the course of a fall semester, we successfully launched our International Student Community, a residential program for graduate students interested in living in a multicultural space in Jerusalem. And so far, 10 students from Australia, Canada, Germany, India, and the US have joined the ISC, further enriching our already diverse community. And we hope that this element of UNT will continue to grow in the coming months. We're also developing a business excellence program for mid-career professionals committed to being agents of for a better future as they pursue entrepreneurial endeavors in the Middle East. Thanks to the generous support of the Tim Schlintwin family, we were able to raise $120K in order to launch this program in 2023. And finally, in addition to our extensive Arabic language program, we've started to offer private lessons in both Arabic and Hebrew and have TED diplomats registered for these courses. On behalf of the entire UNDT community, we wish you and your families a happy holidays from Jerusalem. And next, we'll hear from Catherine in Hong Kong.
Hi, everyone. Greeting from Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, we have welcomed an exchange student to Hong Kong this semester, and we're looking forward to welcome 4 students in the spring. So even though they will go through a 21 days quarantine, they decided to come. So we are so excited. During their quarantine days, we have designed some movie programs, Cantonese class program, some like Cantonese song program for them. Not only that, our alum has also committed to a mentorship program for students during their quarantine, for virtual mentorship program online. But when they come out, we'll have the physical internship program with our student, plus the exchange program. So we want to give them more of different experience. Also, we have a different admission info section this fall to meet with the high school student and university student. And also we have been promoting for the law school. Also, for our local alumni, parents, and benefactor, we have arranged Thanksgiving dinner. We're planning a Christmas dinner, and we have a 3 live football watch with our alumni and friends in Hong Kong. So this is wonderful. Also, some update about our Taiwan Cup. Our alumni in Taiwan has been very active. They have been hosting football event and also Thanksgiving dinner. And we have also, I'm excited to announce that we have a new Shenzhen Alumni Cup. So they are doing a lot of event recently, and we'll plan, they just had a Thanksgiving dinner and planning a Christmas event later on. So thank you. Next, I will pass it to Dublin.
Gurmaga, Catherine, and DAE, NDI, it is great to see you all. After a semester spent hiking the mountains of Mayo, listening to the history of the streets of Belfast, and discovering the magic of Yeats and Sligo, our undergraduate program of 49 students are sitting their exams over the next 2 weeks, and so we are wishing them all the best of luck as they finish up their semester here with us. In November, the Gateway team, in partnership with the Office of Admissions, hosted an event for 120 Irish high schoolers interested in attending the University of Notre Dame for their undergraduate education. And then as part of the forum this semester as well, the Gateway put on 3 different events. The first was our Global Day of Action with our undergraduates, where we participated in a canal cleanup in South Dublin. Then we had our summer researchers participate in a climate inventory, and Margaret Ariola hosted the inaugural Naughton Fellow Alumni event, which featured Henry Perillo, who now works with the EPA, Kathleen Craw, who works with the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, and Tessa Clarizio, who's pursuing her PhD at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. From all of us here in Dublin, Nollaig Hannah, a very happy Christmas. And finally, the Beijing team will finish out the headline portion of the Global Town Hall. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Robert. Working with Shanghai International Studies University in China and NDI colleagues on campus, BGG hosted a virtual conference on China's soft cooperation with Africa. The half-day conference brought together 13 scholars from China, Africa, Europe, and the US, and attracted attendees from 26 different countries. Since October, BGG has established partnerships with 10 departments and offices to strengthen their student recruitment in China. 5 articles promoting Notre Dame programs were published on our WeChat platform and received 10,000 plus views. BGG played a key role in planning or presenting 6 virtual information sessions and 1 in-person session, and attending educational fairs in 3 cities. Finally, BGG established a Sustainability Working Committee with Notre Dame's Chinese alumni and organized a lecture titled Global Climate Governance and China's Changing Role Under Carbon Neutrality with the Peking University Center in Chicago and the Beijing Alumni Club. That wraps up the headline section of the Global Town Hall. Now I'll hand it back to Michael.
Thanks a lot, Reagan. And thank you everyone for the exciting updates that you've shared. As you can tell, we are full steam ahead this semester and on into 2022. I now would like to turn us to our features section, and I'm excited to kick off this section with one of the newest members of our team, Jackie Oluch Aridi, who's from Nairobi, Kenya. She arrived into campus very late last night, and we're going to have a conversation together live in the town hall. But before we do that, so you can get to know her a little bit better and the work that she's supporting in Africa, we'd like to show you a short video.
My name is Jacqueline Oluch Aridi. I'm Kenyan, and I've worked for the University of Notre Dame since 2013. I joined as the Ford Family Programs Regional Research Programs Manager and worked for 7 years based out of Nairobi. I recently joined Notre Dame International in 2021. I'm married with 2 beautiful daughters, Maya Rose and Brie, and I have a PhD in health systems management, and I'm passionate about conducting research that has policy impact. Nairobi has been known as a hub for entrepreneurship. The people in Nairobi are very vibrant and the young population is very energetic. And so there are a lot of exciting projects happening in Nairobi, ranging from UN organizations, international organizations, and these organizations work on topics ranging from migration, international health, global health, public health, and many different things like the environment. And so Nairobi is a great hub for people experiencing both international work, but also the culture. People in Nairobi are quite receptive and are willing to learn, and they're willing to partner with people from elsewhere. So mostly the work that we're doing is promoting the international nature of the university. So we basically try and get students global experiences, such as internship programs in collaboration with our local partners in the region. So we have a global professional experience, which is a 6-week program in Nairobi. And this program is aimed at exposing our undergraduate students at Notre Dame to the exciting work that organizations are doing. So we look for organizations that are aligned to the students' backgrounds. So these are organizations in public health, development, economics, political science. I have been serving in subcommittees with colleagues in the gateways on cross-cutting projects such as the ND Forum on Sustainability, but I'd like to work more with my colleagues and share experiences on how to conduct research in a local context and how the university can truly be global by doing local research and also collaboration and partnership with institutions, research institutions on the African continent. So one way we can do this is to do joint collaborations across continents on similar problems that are common to people like COVID-19 pandemic, diseases that don't know any boundaries, or issues like migration. So there's some research issues that are cross-cutting, and I'd like to work with my colleagues in answering research questions on these diverse topics together with faculty, of course.
So I am here now with Jackie, who, as I said, arrived late last night. Welcome.
Thank you.
Could you tell us how your trip was, how long it took you to get here, and how you made it from Nairobi to South Bend?
Thank you, Michael, for welcoming me on campus. My trip was very long, 14 hours from Dubai to the US and 5 hours from Nairobi to Dubai. So I was in air for 19 hours. So quite long.
We are grateful that you are awake this morning and up with us sharing in this community. I think a lot of people have on their minds how things are going in Kenya with the pandemic. We're all talking about it all around the global network with the rise of the Omicron variant. What's the situation like in Nairobi right now?
Thanks for asking, Michael. The situation in Nairobi is the number of cases has steadily gone down because of mainly compliance. So people are wearing masks and distancing, and but the deaths still continue. I think we're at about 3,500 deaths, unfortunately. But the good news is the vaccination rates are increasing. So most Kenyans are getting their second vaccine dose, but we're not yet at the stage of boosters and the stage of giving children vaccination.
Thank you for that update, and we will continue to pray and remember those that have passed away from the pandemic, and also pray for healing for those that are facing it now. You mentioned in the video about your PhD and about your passion for research. Can you tell us a little bit about your academic background and what you were studying in your PhD and what your research was?
Thank you again. So my PhD was in health systems management. So I was basically studying how the health system can be viewed in a more global way. So I looked at maternal health in one of our sites in Dandora in Nairobi and looked at how women make choices for place of delivery. And it was very interesting. I found out that mostly people look at things that are ignored by policymakers, such as cleanliness of health facilities. So it was quite exciting to study maternal health.
One of the slides in the video about you showed people working in the clinic, and the Ford Family Program, which is part of who you were working with previously, along with Kellogg. Now coming to NDI, you'll be serving a wider cross-section of the university community. How long have you been at Notre Dame, all told? I think longer than I have. I'm trying to think how long.
Yeah, so I've been at Notre Dame for 8 years now. 7 of those years were at the Ford program and working out of Nairobi, Kenya with the Kellogg Institute. And it was very exciting because we started these programs from scratch in 2013 2013 and established community engagement as a center and focus of our research. So we did a lot of collaboration with faculty and a few students, and I'd really like to watch that grow into this global platform at NDI.
Definitely. I think we're all very excited. I know we're all very excited that you joined the team and that the platform in Nairobi can grow in the ways that you just described. Because you've been here for so long, do you have a favorite memory of Notre Dame that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, so I think my favorite memory at Notre Dame was meeting Father Hesbach. So my former boss, Father Bob Dowd, took me up to meet him at the library. And it was so fascinating because he was very clear in his thinking. And I had assumed that because he was old, he was just talking, and he talked about the situation with poaching and the selling of ivory. And I thought he was talking about a memory. And then when I later looked at the news, he was current on news, and I was so impressed by him. It was a great experience meeting him.
He was a great traveler and very passionate about the part of the world that you come from. Last question, people in the network might not be aware that we have a rich community of alumni in Nairobi and in Kenya and actually throughout East Africa. Part of that's because of the Congregation of Holy Cross and the community and the education that they provide and their service in different countries in the region. Can you talk a little bit about the alumni and a recent exciting alumni gathering that you hosted?
Thank you. Yes, so recently on November 27th, we had a Notre Dame East Africa alumni meeting. It was both virtual and in person, and we've been doing this event. This was our third event coming together, and this was really well attended by about 15 to 20 alumni from all over East Africa and other parts of Africa. And what was interesting was the kind of engagement that the alumni are looking forward to having. They wanted to follow up on some of the East Africa conversations that we hosted with the NDI earlier in the year with Father Bob, where we had you, we featured you, we featured Provost Miranda, and we featured Dean Cole from the law school. So the alumni wanted to see more of that intellectual academic engagement with partners in the country, but they also wanted to play a role in welcoming students. They particularly spoke of African students facing a lot of crisis with the climate and the coldness in South Bend oncoming. And so we talked about the ambassadorial program and having them come together, and we welcome and mentor the students that are coming to Notre Dame and tell them what to expect. So we talked about that, but also the vision of the university's engagement in Africa in terms of partnership and giving an experience to Notre Dame students in Africa in a meaningful way in organizations that do things that are aligned to their educational career. So we had very, very good conversations, and we're very grateful to both NDI and the ND Alumni Association who co-hosted the event with us.
Appreciate your leadership in bringing those alumni members together, both in person and virtually, for that meeting. And I also want to, again, welcome you to NDI. There is a tremendous amount of work and exciting and dynamic work to do. I mean, just thinking about welcoming students to come and study and do research in Nairobi hits on study abroad. Supporting faculty research certainly hits on our global engagement team and the research work that we heard Jer talking about earlier. Working with East African students who are coming here will touch on the lives of our colleagues in ISA. And certainly there's much to learn from people around the network about how they work with alumni, how they work with faculty, and how we might create new kinds of projects that don't always go through South Bend, but might be between Mumbai and Nairobi, or between Nairobi and Beijing, or Nairobi and Hong Kong. So this is an exciting time. For those of you on campus, Jackie will be here all week. Please make time to stop in and say hello, get to know her, take her to a cup of coffee, or grab a Christmas cookie at Dunkin'. For those that are around the world, please reach out and set up a time to talk and get to know Jackie better and brainstorm how you might be able to collaborate and cooperate for the good of Notre Dame. Thank you very much. Welcome. Please join me in welcoming Jackie to NDI. Thank you. And now we will move on to a new program that Brigitte will be talking about, Study Abroad Storytellers. Brigitte.
Thank you, Michael. Earlier this academic year, the Study Abroad team launched a new initiative, the Study Abroad Storytellers program. This initiative was focused on providing students with a platform to share their stories with future prospective students. Our goal was to feature student stories on all the platforms. However, after all the students submitted their feedback, we were blown away by what they said. We are very excited to share that not only did we reach our goal, but we went above and beyond our expectations. Listen to what the students have to say and how this impacted their experiences abroad.
The Study Abroad Storytellers program allows students to not only have a voice, but to have a creative voice in the stories that they share. We have students in London, Hong Kong, Ireland, Rwanda, Mexico, Spain, Italy, Greece, and France. Each student in the program has taken this opportunity to reflect on their time abroad and share those experiences. They have been involved in creative writing, connecting with students on campus, video production, podcast guests, Instagram takeovers, and many more. We can't wait to capture more stories from abroad as the Study Abroad Storytellers program continues to grow and evolve. Without a platform to share their stories would never be heard.
Why I really wanted to be a part of the Notre Dame Study Abroad Storytellers program. Two main reasons: identity and purpose. Personally, I am growing to love myself and be more comfortable with myself every day, and I think this was a grand opportunity for me to document my experience.
I joined the Study Abroad Storyteller program because I've always loved a good story. Ever since I was little, I loved fiction novels because they could transport me to another world for days at a time. And I think for me, this is my way of sharing another world with the students of Notre Dame.
It's really important for students to have a voice when studying abroad because there's so many things that are happening in the semester. Everything is so different, everything. And it allows the student to be able to really flesh out their experiences.
Study abroad programs are used as like a life experience tool for students to become global citizens and for them to relate to so many other people while appreciating and understanding other cultures and their own.
This program, in allowing me to share my stories with my peers and my family, this program has taught me a lot about myself. I've done a lot of community outreach in not only Kigali, but the surrounding villages, and it's pushed me to step outside of my comfort zone and talk to people that I wouldn't normally push myself to talk to.
It has allowed for so much reflection and a search for knowledge and understanding in many areas. In addition, I strongly believe that it has made me dig deeper in my purpose and what I want to do and how I want to be connected to my community, my culture, other cultures, the indie community, and the world.
The Study Abroad Storytellers program has helped me better understand Greek culture by giving me the space to really sit with what I've been experiencing. I know it's so easy to get through the semester and let the weeks slip by, just let each week kind of go with the wind, but being a storyteller has given me the space to sit down with my photos, sit down with my journal and say, okay, what's up? Like what have I been living? What are the ways in which I have noticed Greek culture is very different than American culture?
And I've learned what true political polarization is. And it's really helped me understand some of my peers in the Notre Dame community. I may not see eye to eye with everyone, but if there's one lesson that I've learned throughout storytelling and in my program, it's that just because you have a different opinion doesn't mean that differing opinion is all wrong.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Brigida, for that terrific study abroad update. At the beginning of this semester, Michael shared with us his strategic priorities for our division, which include our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and to sustainability. These are, of course, fundamental values to the mission of Notre Dame. Notre Dame International has a unique opportunity to shed a brighter light on the intersectionality of internationalization, DEI, and our responsibility to be good stewards of our global home. Last year, an Agile team was created to focus on sustainability. Similarly, a DEI task force was also formed. One tangible recommendation that came from both the Agile team and task force was to create working groups that would encourage our division to learn from and with one another, to proactively support and integrate DEI and sustainability into our daily practices and workplace culture, and to contribute to the larger university on campus and in our global locations. To this end, I'm excited to share that 6 working committees have been formed and launched to continue the good work of the Agile team and the task force. DEI and sustainability are large and complex topics, so breaking up the work according to the following committees made sense. As you see, DEI and sustainability have 3 committees: governance and reporting, community engagement, programs, and curriculum. The committees mirror one another on purpose. It is important that each committee focus on tangible deliverables that are unique, while also sharing a common purpose. Time does not allow me to expand on the purpose and goals of the committees right now, but later today, I will send an email sharing more information for your awareness and consideration. As we know, the theme of the Notre Dame Forum this year is Care for Our Common Home, Just Transition to a Sustainable Future. I'd like to give a shout out of gratitude to the Notre Dame Forum Task Force that have done incredible work thus far to incorporate a global perspective into several forum events this semester. They will continue to contribute to the forum next semester while also pivoting to focus on NDI-specific programs and curriculum. Therefore, moving forward, this task force will be known as the Sustainability Programs and Curriculum Committee. Gratitude also goes to the 40 members of our NDI community across all of our global regions who have joined the working groups. I want to sincerely thank all of you who are helping to educate, push, and transform us through your work and commitment. Please join me in thanking our colleagues. So you may be asking, where can I find these resources you're referring to, Angie? Good question. Starting in January 2022, current and future DEI and sustainability resources, best practices, and policies will be housed in the NDI portal. Over time, resources and initiatives will be added by our committees. As a sneak preview to what is to come, let me quickly highlight one example of what you can expect to utilize in the future: the Anti-Racism and Inclusion Resource Project. This resource has been designed for NDI by NDI staff to ensure a global perspective on race and inclusion. It is intended to assist us in deepening our understanding of race, racism, and anti-racism work that can foster opportunities for discussion and dialogue among ourselves and others. As these tools and processes are developed, it is essential that they be used. Otherwise, our efforts are in vain. Finally, the committees are working together to develop a comprehensive survey to capture important data on our current practices and future goals related to DEI and sustainability. Look for this also in the new year. We are hoping for and expecting 100% participation rate. So thank you in advance for your cooperation. Now, on the theme of sustainability, let's take a look at how our colleagues across the world participated in the Global Day of Action.
To celebrate the Feast of St. Francis, members of the Notre Dame community around the globe responded to Laudato Si's call to care for our common home with local action. Notre Dame faculty, staff, and students studying all over the world were encouraged to come together with a local service project, a sustainability conversation with friends or colleagues, a reading group, or a prayer service. In Dublin, undergraduate students and postgraduate Nocturne Fellows headed out to the Grand Canal to help clean up litter. Whereas in Rome, students gathered to read some passages from Laudato Si. In other global locations, students, faculty and staff made videos of their own to celebrate the Feast of St. Francis. Here are two now, which speak for themselves.
Recording live from Studio B2-201 in the heart of Puebla, Mexico, I'm your host, Christopher Gregory Aiello, joined by the co-host, Joshua Joseph Dippold.
Today we admire the incredible form, grit, and power of will exhibited by Notre Dame students in their local abroad community. Back to you, Christopher.
Exquisite commentary, Josue. I couldn't agree more. Their doggedness was nothing short of inspirational. Look at the form by Shannon there. Picture-perfect trash pickup. And who is that dashing young man? Looks to have a supportive hold on that sapling.
Oh, praise him, oh, praise him. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hi, I'm Nitin D'Souza, a Capuchin Franciscan friar from India, Mumbai. Today, as we celebrate the feast of St. Francis of Assisi, our seraphic father and founder, I am reminded of a phrase from Peace Prayer. It is in giving that we receive. In a similar way, I would like to say it is in caring for Mother Earth that the Mother Earth cares for us. Happy feast!
And now I'll turn it over to you, Father Jim, in London.
Hello, welcome to London. I'm here to introduce briefly the exciting news we have around the Chesterton collection. Oh, it's been in place since the pandemic ended. It took some years, 2 years in fact, before we actually had the build out completed and the archive in place. We have had Ronan Doheny, an Irishman, here to look at the conservation and preservation issues around some of the artistic pieces of the collection. We're just so excited that we're coming close to making it known to the world. And you're the first of them as you see the video that we put together, just to give you a little background on our recent progress.
My name is Ronan Doheny, the archivist of the G.K. Chesterton collection at the Notre Dame London Global Gateway. Gilbert Keith Chesterton was the Prince of Paradox, the Apostle of Common Sense. He was one of the major Catholic figures of his time and one of the leaders of the Anglo-Catholic literary revival. A true Renaissance man who was a journalist, an author, a poet, an artist, and an evangelist for the Catholic faith. Chesterton's life and writings have convinced many to convert to Catholicism, and the cause for his canonization is ongoing. If he does become canonized, his collection holds first-class relics in the form of his hair. Chesterton was the Prince of Paradox, and his fiction is often hilarious, but also contains deep truths, and arguably his best work is The Man Who Was Thursday. But undoubtedly his most popular work and famous work is the detective fiction series Father Brown. The collection holds an impressive set of books from Chesterton's own personal library, with his own doodles strewn across many of the pages. There are also examples of Chesterton's artwork, such as his pastel drawings and the earliest known artwork by Chesterton when he was a child. Chesterton's impact went far beyond English-speaking countries, with his books translated into many different languages, and this collection holds a large number of these translations into such languages as Spanish, Italian, Czech, Polish, and Russian. Chesterton was a popular author and figure of hope for people living behind the Iron Curtain, For example, the collection holds a 1941 edition of the Club of Queer Trades, translated into Russian in Leningrad months before the Nazi siege of the city. The most visually striking part of this collection are the toy theatres. This collection holds a beautiful toy theatre set, handmade and decorated by Chesterton himself, with backgrounds depicting castles and forests and palaces, and over 100 toy theatre characters handmade by Chesterton, ranging from saints to villains, knights to dragons. Chesterton performed toy theatre shows for the neighbourhood children in his home of Beaconsfield. The toy theatres showcase Chesterton's love of play and of children. There is a universality of appeal in this collection. This collection will appeal to fans of Chesterton, to art students, to historians, to Catholics, to students of theatre, and this collection just shows how extraordinary and universal a man he was.
Hello. I had to get the last word in.
So hello everyone from stormy Galway at the moment. So during their semester abroad at the National University of Ireland, Galway, Notre Dame students have had the unique and amazing opportunity to complete the Scientific Research Experience module. Each student is paired up with a PI at NUIG for the semester and is able to work one-on-one in a graduate level lab environment in cancer research, environmental science, and neuroscience. This 3-credit research experience helps students to exhibit an in-depth knowledge of basic and applied research in their assigned research area, demonstrate awareness of common techniques and technologies, develop expertise in a range of methods through hands-on experience in a lab setting, follow health and safety standards required for lab research, identify, read, and critique research in scientific literature, and communicate scientific concepts and findings in an appropriate written format. Of the 10 students we have studying at NUIG currently, 6 of them are currently completing the research module. I was able to visit the students in their labs and learn more about their experience. Take a look.
I'm really enjoying being in the lab and learning so much on lab technique and then just also the process of forming a good study. We're working on a study of the Q4 gene, which has been found in a lot of positive prostate cancer biopsies to see if that might be a better indicator than PSA in blood work for diagnosis.
I'm working in the Lamb Institute with Professor Aoife Lowry, and mostly I've been shadowing a PhD student and a 4th-year pharmacology student at NUIG who's working on MTS assays with paclitaxel and seeing how that drug affects not only the cancer cells but also the stem cells that are present in areas where cancer grows. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm learning a lot. I'm getting a lot of good lab experience that I hadn't before, so it's been a really good experience for me.
My name's Bianca and I'm working with Professor Michal Molho on a sociology project that is mapping adolescent health behavior across European countries to the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. So it's very different to the research that I do back at ND. So there I do neuroscience research, and here it's a lot more one-on-one, and it's also a new project. So we really get to build it from the ground up.
Hi, my name is Liana Vigo, and I'm working in Professor Santa Canale's lab at NUIG. I'm working on a project to see how CDC inhibition affects DINO1 protein in cancer cells. I really like the lab. It's really interesting to kind of see what you read in the text but come to life. It's really interesting being able to work with a PhD student and my PI and be able to really understand how the cell cycle works and how different cancer cells are affected by different drugs.
I've definitely learned better lab technique and understanding the process of a study from beginning to end and taking findings from previous studies to form a new question.
I've gained a lot of experience in this lab that I can take back to Notre Dame, whether I go into another lab or just learning in my classes. I have a better understanding of research techniques through this experience with the Lamb Institute.
We are in the beginning stages of getting the background for the Sustainable Development Goals and also determining how these measurements will actually be created and how they'll be disseminated to policymakers. So it's really nice to be part of a new project and have a say in every step of the process along the way. And I think that it's helped me a lot in being creative and problem solving and getting those research skills that I didn't previously get back on campus. So academically, I think it's helping me a lot, and it's also just a really interesting and fun topic that I never would have gotten the chance to explore professionally back in Notre Dame.
I feel like at Notre Dame I really want to pursue cancer research since I've been here. I kind of had an inkling that I wanted to do cancer research before, just having a lot of cancer be prevalent in my family. So it was really interesting that I was able to do it here, and it kind of really spawned an interest in me doing cancer research back at Notre Dame potentially with Harper Cancer Research Institute.
Thank you, Zoe, for that last segment, and thanks to everyone who has been presenting in the various videos throughout today's town hall. I also want to thank especially Jo Byrne in London for the additional content she has provided in today's town hall. We greatly appreciate that. And Gabby's right in the chat. It is amazing to hear those students speak about their experience and to see the work that we are doing with regard to sustainability and equity and inclusion. And it's great to see our students celebrating the Feast of St. Francis as well. There was a lot that was quite remarkable in today's town hall, and I always cherish this ability for us to come together and share our stories, like the storytellers that Brigitte mentioned earlier. The thank you slide that you see on your screen right now is, as the blurb says to the left, the bottom left-hand corner, the large sycamore tree near the grotto. I thought I would give you this teaser of our upcoming Christmas card and holiday card that will go out to our colleagues across campus and around the world, and the partners that have made our students and faculty's experiences around the world so special. Why this tree? For those on campus, you may walk by this tree on your way to the grotto and not even notice it. It is an interesting tree in that it has been identified as the oldest tree on the University of Notre Dame's campus. And it is a somewhat unassuming tree. It's not the tallest tree on campus. It's not on God Quad. The grotto, you may know, was built in 1896. And one of the builder's daughters took a great interest in the grotto and did research in the late 90s, over 100 years later, about how the grotto was built and about the features that make it such a sacred and holy place for so many of us. She wanted to try and get to the mystery of this sycamore tree, which you can only see a small part of here, covered in snow. The tree is actually much taller at 73 feet, and it's quite broad and wide in its base, in its span. She actually asked a member of the forestry department at Purdue to come and date the tree, and the tree is over 220 years old. that would mean at the time that it was dated by the forestry expert that this tree is probably started to grow in the 1770s, long before the university was actually here. I thought this was a fitting image for us to contemplate during the holiday season for a couple of reasons. In this time where things are so busy, take time out to ask yourself, what roots you? What sustains you? Ask yourselves, how are we connected and growing together like this tree? And finally, you might ask yourself, what kind of sustenance and joy and nourishment are you giving to those around you? This tree has provided solace and strength and beauty for anyone going to the grotto, at least in the past 130 years that the grotto's been around. But think about those that came before the grotto and those that came before the University of Notre Dame, who still took solace in this tree. There's a lot to ponder during this holiday season. Take time and reflect on the wonder that is this season. With that, be well, stay healthy, and best wishes for a happy holiday and for a blessed new year. Have a great day and evening, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Bye, everyone. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Everyone, nice
Take
seeing you
care.
all. Yo.
Bye, everyone.